Okay, perfect. So it's the top of the hour and we're going to start. This is not a game of numbers, so we are not about looking at number of participants, even though, of course, that's always a great thing because it demonstrates the level of reach. But what is most important, at this point is the impact. And that's why in the course of this conversation, I always talk about taking action. Because finally, that's what's going to make the difference and that's what rewards, of course, action is what rewards us as entrepreneurs in every and anything that we do. So good evening, everyone. Hello, friends. I'm sure you are keeping well and I'm sure you are keeping safe as well. This is not a time to take our safety or our hygiene for granted. Truth be told, no matter which part of the continent that you're sitting in right now, we can all see that those numbers are increasing. And finally, it behoves us as individuals to be responsible and take control of our own hygiene and take control of our safety and for our families as well. So welcome to TechBiz. Welcome to our newcomers. Welcome to the TechBiz squad as well. Those are the people who join us regularly on a weekly basis. I'm really happy, really pleased to see you all. And again, to restate for those who are just joining us, this is our 9th episode. We run it every Thursday, 5 p.m. Nigerian time, 6 p.m. South African time. And we cover subjects that impact on the entrepreneur as a business owner, but as well on the business. The objective is during this period, the whole challenge and crisis that has rocked the world, your business, of course, has had some form of impact. So this is the time to adapt and this is the time to thrive. There are still opportunities to thrive and this platform is intended to support you to bring you back to a space of thriving. Action, action, action. Please start now. And if you want to take action, the best thing is to write it down. So please take your notepad and make sure that as the ideas pop into your mind, things that you can do as we speak, just write them down. After, of course, you go back and reference them and put a date to it because a goal with a date is actually more impactful. So hello again, I'm Doja Ikeruche. You know me already, I'm a strategist, I'm experienced in building, managing and growing businesses and I've done this in various parts of the world. For me, it is about equipping you to believe in possibilities and also making sure that with the TechBiz series platform that Eco Innovation Center has put to bear, we share relevant, practical knowledge that helps you and helps your business. So again, hashtag TechBiz, hashtag Eco Innovation. You can post on any of the social media platforms and have fun with whatever it is that you learn. So quick housekeeping, your mics are muted. You will see immediately you join, your mics are muted. Feel free to type your questions at any time into the chat box. If you have any challenge with the audio or whatever it is you want to communicate, please post it in the chat box. Every now and then I also look at it. So if you want to send it privately, by all means, do so. We have our press speaker who's going to speak for 40 minutes. They're about 30 to 40 minutes, after which we will read the questions that are in your chat box. But feel free, if you want to ask it verbally as well, just raise your hand in Zoom and we will unmute you and you can ask your question and be a part of the speaking crew. It's not just two people who will speak. So quick information about Eco Innovation Center. We consistently share this week in, week out, and it is clearly to help you understand what the center does and the kind of platforms that are available to support you and support your business. And for Eco Innovation Center, the purpose is leveraging two key enablers, that's innovation and technology to contribute to solving poverty in Africa. You and I know that MSMEs are the bedrock of the continent. So should you thrive, of course, it automatically means that the country will thrive as well. And the pillars to galvanize these are learning, and this is one of the platforms, TechBiz for learning, but we also have more technical schools that teach the knowledge of data analytics, gaining insights from data, machine learning, AI, those kinds of trainings as well are run by Eco Innovation Center. On the research and sustainability side, we work in partnership with governments to drive social impact products that directly address the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Product incubation and acceleration, that is our business side, where we bring ideas and MVPs. MVP is minimum viable products. We bring it to life, including post-revenue, readiness to scale, access to markets, your ability to attract investment for your business that is solving genuine customer problems, because that's where it all starts from, the problems that we solve in the lives of customers, because that's where the payment is going to come from. I want to introduce our speaker, who is Salami Abolore, and I'm wondering if he's already on the call. There we go. Bravo. You almost gave me a heart attack, Salami. Can you unmute?
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't have access to unmute. Good to be here. I said I've been here for a while. I didn't want to interrupt your flow.
Okay, great. It's nice to have you on. Thank you very, very much. We truly appreciate you joining this and you agreeing to speak, share your knowledge, share your experience. A quick introduction of who Salami is. He's the CEO and founder of Ribi. Ribi is a fintech company, and it focuses on finance management for cooperatives. If you're in the South Africa side, it is the finance management for stokvels. So savings and trade groups, and it's about helping these groups and their individual members, helping them to save, to borrow, and to invest together. Salami has over 15 years experience in business development, enterprise sales, managing and consulting for businesses, financial planning, and the rest. You know, a few people have commented on the social media post, and the one thing that struck me about what they said about you, Salami, is that you demonstrate exceptional business acumen and you have transformational leadership skills. So I'm looking forward to you sharing, you know, your experience about discovering, creating, and communicating product value based on everything that you know and your experience within the commercial world. So you're welcome, and it's over to you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here, and I think thank you to AIC Eco Innovation Center for all the fantastic work that you're doing. So I should go ahead, I guess. Okay, so
please.
I kind of would have loved to get a sense of the people in the room. You know, when we were doing physical sessions, which unfortunately we can't do any longer at this moment. You know, typically be able to ask around a few people in the room. Do you have any sense of the people in the room, Dodger? Can you give me a few thoughts?
Oh, no, ask the question and.
Oh yeah, sure. So can I show of hands? Maybe 3 people. Just do a quick introduction. What you do, what your business does, and what your business do, and what you are hoping to get out of this session. Just 30 seconds each. 3 people. Any takers? All right, David, you can go ahead. I think we need to unmute David.
Yeah, he has to accept.
Hello.
David?
Yeah, hi,
yeah,
David.
Good evening. Yeah, glad to be here again. Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead. There's a bit of noise on your side, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'm by the roadside. Sorry for that. My name is David Oluwatosin. The name of my business enterprise is Baytech Enterprise. I'm into hardware, core hardware of laptop and mobile phone. So, and I'm also into ICT, programming of applications for educational purpose. So that's the service I offer. But currently, I base majorly on hardware of gadgets. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we get one more intro? Is there any more hands up? Okay. I mean, I also saw one other introduction on the group. I think this was let me see in the chat. I usually like sessions to be very interactive.
That's fine. So
Yeah,
there's
so
Bamiwo Bosede is about to retire from civil service and she's about to start
start the cosmetic
cosmetics
production.
production, which
I like
is
that.
great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So computer
There's
company, cosmetic production company, and then there's the, sorry, go ahead, Dodger. I see another
Halima.
post. Someone's hand is up. Yeah, Alima.
Halima,
Yes.
yes, she wants assistance for her micro food enterprise. In
Yeah.
terms of acceleration, what are the requirements? Halima, we will get back to you directly
Yeah.
on that one.
Okay, there are two more hands up. I'm not sure we can take any. I mean, we'll come back to you. I'm kind of getting a sense, except you have a profile that is drastically different from the ones already posted. But just leave a chat. I'll come to it as I go through, just to get a sense of the people in the room and also to be able to use that in some of my comments. And thank you very much for the show of hands. So we're going to run through the session today. I'm going to have to be switching between my face, the slide, I'm on mobile, and then my presentation, and just I hope I'm fully coordinated in that. But I want to keep this session, Dodger, if you permit, to about 20, 25 minutes. And the reason is because I wanted to spend more time on the question and answer session. I think, or I kind of feel like that would be more productive or more effective. And since we are spending more time, sorry, Dodger, you want to say something?
No, I was going to say that's perfect, Salami. And we also have had questions from our teams that when individuals registered as well, there's a whole long list of questions that it will be great to go through as well. So indeed, as interactive as possible.
Fantastic. All right. So by 5:30, I want to be as wrapped up on this as possible. Okay. So there are four. Can you next slide? Okay. So there are four sections we're going to go through today. Dodger has talked a little bit about my background. I've worked in consulting. I did a bit of work in the media industry, but consulting especially relates to this, where in consulting they will say what you want to say it, then tell us what you told us. So typically you run through what you want to say, you say what the whole thing, and then you give a summary of what you said. And so this page just shows us in summary what I'm going to present in the next 20 minutes. The first is just to tell us my view around discovery, creation, and communication. And then I'm going to take a little bit of deep dive into what is that process of discovery. Is it that special aha moment, in the bathroom when you're singing in your shower and you just got the best idea, and next thing you're the owner of SpaceX or the owner of Tesla or the owner of Apple? How does that process really work? In my own view and from my own experiences. Then the question of the why, and then we're going to go a little bit more into the creation process. Those are page numbers, by the way, so don't let it confuse you. And the creation process, we're going to talk about, so what's the typical process for creating your product? One of the best product in the world today is the Apple product, right? The Apple iPhone, right? And the MacBook. Okay, for those that are on desktop, maybe I should keep my video on. Yeah, I see that people on desktop might be seeing both video and the deck, but on mobile, I'm only seeing the deck. So let me keep my video on, but I'm trying to save for bandwidth. Dodger, let me know if I disconnect at any time, and I'll switch back to just audio. So that creation process is just going to touch through a quick of my thoughts around what I think that creation process is. And then lastly, on communication. And, I'm not sure if I mentioned this to Dodger earlier in our conversation, but I threw in a little bit of twist to that communication. Communication is really where the shit hits the fan, where the rubber hits the road, right? Because you can discover the best product in the world. You can create the most amazing, platform or computer or anything in the world. Guess what? If nobody's using it, if nobody knows about it, that's the end, right? That's the end. That's the beginning and the end of the product. So there's a lot of depth in communication. Now, moving into what I call the introduction, I want us to think about this process very clearly. And this is, if this is the only thing you take out of this session, I think it's worth it. I'll feel fulfilled that we're all in this session. And that's the fact that you should think about this process as a cyclical process. Can you go back to introduction? Think about this process as a cyclical process. And thank you, Dodger. Dodger and the team at the AIC were extremely deliberate in the choice of the topic. As Dodger mentioned, You know, so we're talking about product value. We're talking about how do I really get out the value for my product and get it into the hands of the consumer or the hands of the customer, and they use it. And that process involves, you know, you even finding out what is the product, what do we even exist, why should we even exist, right? And then now creating that product to solve the problem, getting the product out to the customer for them to use it. And guess what? You have to then repeat this process. You see a lot of repeats in my slide. And that's because one of the biggest things I've learned is that the most important part of product creation is actually the repeat process. It's actually what you learn, then you do it again, you know, and so that I don't forget this example that Doja and I have spoken about before. The most successful companies in Nigeria are not the ones that were created two years ago. They're the guys that were created 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. They have seen that, done that, and you know, I'm happy I have the best co-partner on this presentation for this for this role in Doja, and she's going to be talking about some of these areas. Friesland Campina, I think that's what they're called. The guys that produce Peak Milk. They just, you know, recently produced a yogurt drink, right? That's decades of not producing any drinks, only producing stuff that you eat in breakfast, milk, and things like that. But now they're producing drink. That's the repeat process of discovery, right? And then getting that out to the customer and then doing it over and over again. And like I said, you have to do it like Mario, right? You have to just assume that that's the only thing you're going to do in all of life. You know the way Mario is now. You know, you have 7 lives. When you get to a particular stage, you do it, you fail, you die, you go back to the beginning and repeat. Just think about this as a process that you have to keep repeating. So let's go into the discovery process. Next slide. Now I'm going to start with this guy that I like a lot. His name is Simon Sinek. I don't like him a lot. I mean, when I say I like him a lot, I like his thought pattern. I like the way I approach stuff. But I don't know him that well, so much that, you know, I want to say I like him a lot, but I like the way he thinks. And it's called the Golden Circle. You can Google it on YouTube, and you find the answers. You find the video and you can watch it in the full spectrum. But this is his quote, right? It goes into something you call, don't start with the what, start with the why. Right? Don't start with, oh, we want to produce Peak Milk. You're not going to be the only one, right? Dano will produce their own Peak Milk. You want to produce iced tea. You are not going to be the only one. She will produce their own iced tea. Now Lipton produces iced tea, which is part of the repeat process we've spoken about. So you have to start with, why do I even want to create a product? You know, why do I want to do what we want to do? Before you then go into how are we going to do it and what are we going to do? And you can watch the video to get the full spectrum of it. Now I copied this quote from Simon, which is his own quote on his own YouTube page. He says, "So help build a world where the vast majority of people wake up inspired, feel safe at work, and return home at the end of the day feeling fulfilled." That is his why. That is why he produces those videos. That is why he does what he does, because he feels that if people really tap into the spirit, the spiritual nature of what they are doing, then you can get a better output from them. And that's what he tries to do. So, you know, I'm lucky that I've been born into the spirit of why, as opposed to the reason why we're doing what we are doing today is because I asked myself a practical question in 2012. I said, not everybody is going to be an entrepreneur. In fact, 5% of the world today are entrepreneurs. What happens to the rest of the people? How are they going to get rich? The process of being an employee, I was an employee for about 5 years at this time. I worked for 10 years before even starting our own business full time. I'm like, that process of being an employee, not knowing when to save, what to save, how to earn enough income, that can be the process everybody is going through right now because it's not producing any results. So let's think about that a bit. The why. You need to ask yourself the why before you even think about any product at all. Why do you want to start a cosmetic production company? Why? Look at Doja. Isn't she adorable? Does she need to be more beautiful than this? There's going to be chaos if she's more beautiful than this, right? So why do you need to start another cosmetic production company? Why can't you just resell it's called Mac, right? And Doja, you're the only face I'm seeing, so all my examples are
Mac.
Mac, right? Okay, Mac, the Mac powder, right? Sorry. My wife sends me all these errands, but usually I'm never that good at them. So why do you want to become another cosmetic production company? Why do you want to sell computers? Why not oil and gas? You can make more money selling oil and gas. So next slide. Now, the basic reasons why we run a business, or why, the basic why for most people Sometimes it's to generate more income, to save cost, or to deliver better convenience. That's really most. I don't know if there's any other example, right? It's either more money, less cost, or better output. New product, a more fantastic way. The electric car is better than the combustion engine. The car in itself is so innovative, it's better than the horse, right? Don't ask people what they need because they tell you they need a faster horse. No, they need a car. Now they don't even need a car. They now need a frictionless tube called Hyperloop because it's faster to transport. Or they need a flying car, Uber by the air, whatever it is, right? But I think you need to go a little bit beyond that why. And these are 3 examples of companies I think can help us in that discovery process as to why, right? The first company I'm using here is Verve, and it's owned by InterSwitch. And I think one of the things that InterSwitch has done is they've asked themselves, why do we have to do it this way? Why can't Africa, Nigeria, why can't we own our own card system? Why do we have to wait for Visa or MasterCard? Why can't our banking system also be self-sufficient? And so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that they've done. But of course, they solve the most fundamental problem of they save you cost. They make, I think they make the banks money. I'm not sure they make people money, but yeah, they make people money as well.
Well, and more if your customers can easily pay for your service, then they make you money.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So they make the ecosystem of service providers money, right? So they make, of course, when I go to Ebano or ShopRite or a fueling station, I can pay with my Verve card. Then I've generated a significant amount of value. I intentionally used the example, but I love the LifeBank example, right? And LifeBank, the reason why I love the LifeBank example is because it goes beyond the traditional why. It goes beyond the, we want to make money, or we want to save costs, or we want to make it faster, we want to make it more convenient. They go deep into the soul, literally. They save lives. That's their why. I happen to know Temi one-on-one, casually. And Temi, she had a personal story of, I think, I'll try to remember, but I think she had something fatal relating to health. And medical supplies almost took a life of someone she knows very well. I'll ask her next time. Not sure I didn't get that story properly. But what's important is that she then said, okay, how do we change the story of Nigerians in hospitals? Why is it that somebody will die because there's just no blood? So how do we save lives? That's a very strong why. It's not because, I want to make money. It's not because, I want to sell blood. It's not because, I want to sell oxygen. Of course, everybody sells oxygen. Everybody sells blood. But there was a strong why in the foundation of our creation process for our product. And lastly, SpaceX. Of course, Elon Musk is something else. I don't know. I don't want to go into an Elon Musk conversation this afternoon, but it's one of those guys that I respect a lot. He's done the unthinkable. He's innovated in multiple industries, maybe even deeper than Jobs or Gates has done, or maybe will ever do. And he's now said, hey, I want to put man on the moon. Sorry, I want to put man in Mars because the world is going to be overpopulated and there's no better time to start than now in getting man. And then he came up with this whole idea of reusable rockets, saving the cost. So then it went from the why, because man needs to be an interplanetary species. He then says, for us to achieve that, we need to significantly reduce the cost for space travel, right? We need to do reusable rockets. Now, all of the discovery and all of the creation process can become very easy. And of course, he's a master communicator. I don't want to go, when we get there, It's not by chance that he needs to just come on Twitter and be making noise. I need to start learning how to make noise on all these social media platforms. It's not only Hush Puppy and Elon Musk, the 2 extreme examples that should know how to use social media. And we'll get to that when you get to communication. So I think it's important to know that the why is as important as anything else. Next slide. So now that we have our why clearly and we want to go into the creation process, I'm going to speed through the slides from this point on, because I think understanding why you're doing anything is more important than everything else, and everything else just follow. If you understand the why is like the natural fuel. The why is like the crude oil. You will get to the petrol, you will get to the jet fuel, you will get to the diesel, anything you want. But if you understand, if you have your core, your source, your crude oil, everything else will fall in line. Next slide. Okay, sorry, one slide back. Now, I have this slide twice. Build, ship, test, and repeat. I won't say anything about it here, but I wanted you to, have it in your mind. I'll say something about it in the next. Dodger, did you notice that? I hope you didn't delete the second one.
I need to ask my team because they are the
Okay.
ones controlling that part.
Okay, all right, awesome. All right, there are two of this slide here. Can you scroll to the second one just to be sure that it's there? Keep going. It's just before the communication slide. Keep going, keep going. Keep going. Fantastic. All right, please go back to that slide. Now, I'm going to talk about build, ship, test, and repeat at the end of this presentation, but I wanted to say something very fast here. No matter what you are creating, no matter what you're building, no matter what you're selling, there's no need to waste time. There is no need, you want to make the product perfect. You're building a banking app. You want it to be better than Alert plus Cowrywise plus Piggy Bank plus Kuda Bank plus VB plus everybody in the market. And then you want to now add CBN to it. So that when CBN sees the thing, even CBN will say, why is this CEO not the governor of central bank? Bros, calm down. No need to go there. Just build the thing in 6 months max, maybe 1 year. It's okay. Maybe 6 hours. Doesn't really matter. It depends on what you're building. Get into the market pretty fast and repeat that process, right? So you ship, you test, and then you repeat. And that's a good mantra. The other side of it says you fail fast. I'm not sure you want to fail fast like that in Nigeria. You want to move fast. You want to fail fast, but you want to fail carefully. You want to put sense. You want to give yourself brain. Don't want to be failing and throwing away people's money. You have raised $100,000 or you have raised family and friend money, and then you have failed, and then you have come back again, and then you come back 10 times. Bros, you will not even last in the second round. People will stop giving you a dime. So please, you have to fail with sense. But you have to move fast and you have to be very smart. I added there, this is Nigeria, this is Africa. There's something called TIA. It's called TIA factor in venture capital. They put in, if something is worth 10 naira in the US, in Nigeria, it will be worth 2 naira. There's a reason. This is Africa. Next slide. Okay, let's go into the creation process the way I like to put it. And I want this to be more interactive, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on the slide. Typically, I don't even use slides. Dodger said it's a good idea to have slides, and I think it's a good idea as well. It keeps the conversation tailored. Now, ideate. Okay, now we have understood the why. I want to make people more beautiful. I think that there are not enough African brands. Sorry, cosmetic caught my attention this afternoon, so I'm going to go all cosmetic on you guys. I want to make African ladies more beautiful. I don't think men are getting enough attention. I have only one cream. Dodger, this is live. I've been this on Facebook. Okay, I have only one cream. Nivea, what was it called? Sorry, I don't want to advertise any brand. Why now? Why are you guys so selfish? Why is there no cosmetic for us men? You don't know, maybe there are things that we need cosmetic for. So maybe that's your own purpose. I want a cosmetic that all the family members can participate in. I want to make cosmetic a family affair. You found your why. Now you need to create that product. You need to think about what is the problem you are trying to solve, right? And thinking about solving a problem is the fuel to good idea and innovation. Like, what are you trying to solve with your problem? Is it that there are not enough cosmetic for men, or people are not putting enough attention into the process of creating stuff that affects men and so on and so forth? Then you need to go into the ideation process. Guess what? That whole Eureka, I have an idea. It's a process, right? Even though you're not consciously thinking about it, you've been absorbing information about what you want to see better. And then your mind suddenly creates, that solution. And then you get a Eureka. Most times, that's not how it happens. You need to go and watch the video of how iPhone was created. That was not how it happened. A lot of people were fantasizing with the idea that, the iPod, I've forgotten what it's called, the iPod Touch, yes. The iPod Touch, why is it not a phone? It's so powerful. Why can't you just put in the keypad there and put the antenna, and next thing you have a phone? But the process of actually creating the first iPhone, you need to go and watch it. It was a very intense process. It was extremely intense process. The ideation and the the prototyping process, which I'll talk about a bit, you see it. Then you need to evaluate, what are you trying to do? Is it important? Is it valuable? Do you have the chances of winning, in quotes? Try as much as you can. Then before you then go into even developing that product, not just I have an idea, and the next thing you're selling on in the bus or on Lagos Island, and making all of us go through very shitty product. That's not fair, right? Just be fair and go through a very diligent process of, evaluating before you then start developing your product. Now, to just drive home this idea a bit, next slide, I kind of put in something here called prototyping in the creation process. And if for tech startups, which I'm assuming most of us are, but because I've chosen cosmetic here now, I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this idea? Okay, I'll talk about it this way, and then I can spin off a bit. Now, lucky for us, China and the US, which both countries still rule the world. China in the area of light manufacturing, and the US in the area of technology, and of course, the rest of us now are catching up. I've made the process of product creation as cheap and as simple as possible. Everywhere from 3D production to mass production of things like packaging materials from China to what I'm going to use this afternoon as an example, what you call the SD mockup by Adobe. You can almost build your entire product in a few days or a few weeks without the grueling and expensive process. I'm sure you guys are looking at all of this, and sorry, it's not that bold, it's not that big. I don't know if you can zoom and then zoom out. I can tell you that one of the things we do now at our company, Weebly, is that we literally build prototypes for every single thing before we write a line of code. So you can interact with our prototypes, and I don't have the time, I'll have shown you some of that. You can literally click through the entire application. Sometimes these are 300-page long prototypes, like literally 300 pages of content before we write a single line of code using SD mockups. So if you don't know about this, go and get it. You need to create, what would it look like? What would the final thing look like? And put it in front of the people that will use it. Family and friends is good, but put it in front of people that you don't know before, that don't care about you or your feelings, and can tell you the truth. And then the second area is then, okay, now you've done a very fantastic prototype. Can you create a minimum viable product? And then I added something which I saw recently. Can you achieve minimum viable happiness? I got this for the first time, not like for the first time, but I got something pleasing happen to me like 2 or 3 years ago. One of our clients, an enterprise business, they was like, Salami, you guys are giving me a headache. For like 1 year, it still does that now, right? But I still remember this minimum viable happiness moment. And then on this particular occasion, it happens to be one of our clients that happens to also be it's a private sector bank, but they work a lot with government. And one of the projects they do, the vice president, ministers, and people like that use the product. And the next thing, he just called me and said, Salami, your product worked too. So they were in the market, and, the vice president was there for a visit, and they wanted to onboard a customer, and they scooped up our app before the process takes like, maybe 2 hours, or, it's not just as seamless as possible. But we are told them, hey, we're going to change the story. We're going to give you something new that makes this process as seamless as possible. And we hadn't seen it in action at that time, and it was hoping that, okay, maybe within 30 minutes, everything will be done. And the next thing, they've done it, pressed it, and voila, within 5 minutes, the customer is already able to collect their loan. So it was very exciting. It was going to be like, And this is someone that has an MBA from Harvard, he's worked at Microsoft, he's worked at Goldman Sachs, he's worked at, all the very exciting companies. So his standards are extremely high. From that moment, our relationship completely changed. Completely. That minimum viable happiness, that small thing, it wasn't even anything new. In fact, the work we did to get that product, that happy result for him, is less than 30% of the work we had done in prior moments. So understanding that when you create that basic product, that simple functional, you need to get to the point. Paystack is one of the most exciting products in the market today, right? And sometimes it used to pain me when I can't talk about when everybody's not talking about my product, that way, but guess what? Paystack is one of the most, in quotes, to the customer, most simple product. And the amount of work I'm sure the team had done to get to that point where they are happy to use their widgets for your payment is a very deliberate process. So please remember that part. Next slide. This is just another example. Again, all of this, you look at it like, this is fantastic app. What language did you guys use? Hello? Are we still together? Yeah, okay,
Yep.
fantastic. What language did you guys use? It's really nice. Is this iOS or Android? No, it's drawing. It's Corel Draw. Sorry, it's not Corel Draw, but you know what I mean. It's HD mockup. It's just a prototype. But we have the real thing, and it looks exactly the same as what you are looking at in front of you right now. Next slide. And so there's no reason why you should build substandard product or you should build the thing that cannot compete in the market. Again, trust me, it took us 4 years to get here. We know people that got here in their first year and are doing way better than us. But again, learn, repeat, learn, repeat. There's no end, right? If it took Peak Milk, how many years? 20 years to get to drinks, but now they are selling drinks. If it took Lipton 20 years to get to drink, but now I buy Lipton iced tea in PET bottles, and I'm sure that is contributing significantly. Guess what? It took Apple 20 or 30 years to get to iPhone, but iPhone today is about half of the revenue of Apple, a $1.5 trillion company. Think about that. The iPhone didn't even exist just over 10 years ago, when you've been having Motorola since 1980 something. There's no need for you to be unhappy. Just follow the proper process, learn and repeat. Now you've created your prototype, your product looks good, it's made a few people happy. Now what do you do next? You need to pilot the product, right? It's not, just, oh yeah, fantastic, I built this thing, 5 people like it. You're not even sure if they want to pick. Oh yeah, let's spend $100 million to market the product. Well done, clap for yourself. Again, please don't do that. Pilot the product, test it in a closed market, set up a wait list, even make your product look exciting, like, no, these people are serious. So, you can't just enter their product anyhow. You have to have a special class. Whatever it is you need to do it. Then, of course, when you are clear that, you have tested the product and the customer is ready to adopt it, you've collected data, you've learned from it, then you can then start saying, okay, so how do we now go to market? So you have not really gone to market all this while. You don't already have, 1,000 customers or 10,000 customers that are buying your product. No, you've just tested the product. You then start thinking, okay, how do we go to market? And then you start segmenting the market. Okay, maybe you are selling a school management. Okay, let me continue with my cosmetics now. So you're selling cosmetics and you say you want to target the family, right? So you say, okay, let's start with the kids. We want to make the product target kids. We want to ensure that kids have the right cream. My daughter has dry scalp, and my daughter is Princess, by the way, Princess Coco, Oyinbo. So you want to make sure that the right, and my wife is always complaining about the Sebamed. Georgia, I'm sure you know Sebamed.
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. She's there, and see, I'm tapping into the cosmetics trade. She's always complaining that, she likes using Sebamed for her, but something, and that is expensive, and that all sort of things, right? Maybe you want to create the Nigerian equivalent of Sebamed, but you have to go through the right, NAFDAC, procedure, standard organization of Nigeria, and so on and so forth. So you want to now say, okay, we want to start by targeting kids. Then we want to start going into the fathers. An unusual approach before you then get to the mothers. Or maybe you want to focus only on women. All of those nitty-gritty details is now what you begin to consider after you've tested the product, you piloted the product, and you're sure that it works and it solves the people's problem and makes them happy. Next slide. Now, this is the final stage before you then start saying you want to scale the product. And I really want to wrap up very quickly. Product market fit. Next slide. Are we on the next slide? Product market fit. Okay, good. Now, product market fit, it describes a scenario where companies' target customers are buying, using, and telling other people about the product in large enough quantities to sustain the product growth and profitability. And this is where I give a shout out to Amaka, because she really came up with all of this content. We just had a general flow, and I'm really amazed with a lot of the definitions she's put here, and I think this is a very valuable content. Your product, Toja, I hope I'm permitted to use broken English in some of these. I know we have South Africans and other people in the crowd, but I need to tell it as it is to my people. The product, the thing gas enter, like, it has to fit. The market has to be ready for the product. It's not, you can't just say, cook something together and the next thing you think you take off, build it and they will come. They will not come anywhere. They will stay in their house. There's Corona. Does the market really want this product? Is it ticking the right box? There's one of the products that we have been pushing now for 3 years. And guess what? I will say so that people will know, people don't know a lot of what we do at Ribi. Most of what people know today is just less than 20% of what our business is. And we keep it that way intentionally because even that 20%, we know some people that are copying us cover for cover. Like say we did secondary school. Because Salami wrote A for that answer. Let me write A very quickly. Right? So it's better you don't even know the rest of what we're doing. But guess what? It's literally less than 20%. And the reason is that the product, the market, the size of the market, the assumption of what the market really wants, and the size of that market is not exactly what the market has come to be in what we are finding out. So we now have to start tweaking and adjusting our model to fit the market, right? To ensure that we're selling the product in a way that the market is willing to use it, willing to pay for it. We've had to go from web, mobile, USSD, agent. Now we're offering the product on paper. I'm not kidding you. That we're offering, like, if you don't have phone, you don't even have phone number. Some people don't even have surname. Don't worry. You have a face and you can write or you can sign. You get the product, right? So that is extremely important. Customers must be buying at a returnable, like a significant amount of rates. Product usage must be high. You must be getting referrals. Now, every other day, somebody is referring and say, have you spoken to Ribi? Have you spoken to Ribi? Have you spoken to Ribi? Even banks are sending customers to us and say, have you spoken to Ribi? For things that ideally you think a bank is the one that's supposed to offer it to you. And you're generating substantial amount of revenue. That's when you're now ready for next slide. That's when you're now ready to now start scaling this thing that you have created, right? Again, like I said, ideate, evaluate, what's that? Don't worry, I have mine here. Ideate, evaluate, develop, then pilot, test, ensure you get to product market fit. Repeat that process as many times as possible before you then start scaling the product, right? You're sure that, okay, this is the product that we think will hit critical mass in the market. Most people don't know. Paystack, a lot of the companies that you see that are successful, Paystack started operating a pilot in 2014. My friend Boye, the guy, someone that I know, everybody on this call will know, Mr. Easy, right? They were all in 440 Accelerator at Morehouse in Ikoyi in 2014 when Paystack started piloting. It didn't really launch until 2016. You ask yourself, what happened in those 2 years? That's what I just described to you. Before they now say, okay, this thing can scale. Oh yeah, let's keep ideating, over again, and then let's scale the business. Now, remember this slide, next slide. Remember this slide I told you I'll come back to at the end. This is the reason why. So it's easy. If I didn't tell you at the end to build, to ship, test, repeat, you think, but that build, 2 weeks, you don't hammer. No, it's not like that. Oh. The build I just, like all the long thing I just described, that's the build. It can happen in 6 hours. Or sometimes it can take 6 months or 6 years. Depends on what you're building. But whatever it is, don't wait till it's perfect. Build it, test it, ship it, repeat, and do it over again. Okay, lastly, communication. And I added something here called delivery. Can you go to the next slide? Great. So it's mostly communication, but there's also some component of delivery. And I'll tell you why. And the reason is because everybody thinks that communication is just marketing. No. Communication is the art, in the way my daughter and I discussed it, is the art of getting the product that you have built to the hands of the customer and getting them to come back. Now, that is the most expensive part. That's what people don't realize. Now, remember the why. We started with the why at the beginning of this presentation. I said, why? What is the reason for what you are doing? I'm not going to go into the business model canvas, but that's one thing that's the simplest version of a business plan that I know. And I've been writing business plans since 2004. Thank God that I met a man called Abiodun Adejola, Youth Entrepreneurship Program back in OAU in that 2004. And I've been writing a business plan financial model since then. This is the simplest version of business plan that I know. I've written 150-page business plans before, all sorts of business plans across all sorts of industries. But you need to know this. Without this, you cannot get a clear message. Every basic thing like your value proposition, which is your why, your customer relationship, how are you going to get your customers, your customer segment, what channels are you going to use to reach them, what resources do you need, what are the key activities you need to be doing every day, like integrating with banks if you are running a fintech company, like sourcing your materials if you are running a cosmetic company, packaging your materials. Who are your partners that you need to have? What's your cost structure? And how are you going to make money? Next slide. And I give an example here of Uber's business model canvas. And maybe that might put a little bit of context for, next slide, please. That might put a little bit of context for everyone around what is the business model canvas and why is it important. And the reason why I decided to open this presentation, this last part, communication, with this BNC, is so that you kind of get the structure of where I want to go with communication. Next slide. And it's a case of, now that you know your why and you have your what, trust me, between your why and your what, you will know how. If you don't know how, you won't get to what. And if you start at what, your why will not be solid enough. You will be a commodity. You will not be a differentiator. You will just be, another air cream, right? You will not be, there will not be a magic to your product. There will not be a reason, like Apple wants to change the world. They want things to be better. And that is infused into all their employee culture, into how they create their product. Now that we have, we've known the why, we've known how we're going to get to our product, and we've built our product, it's now time to get in the hand of customers. I'm going to say it very simply, 3 ways, traditional, simple ways that everybody knows. And some people are more successful in it than others. Word of mouth, the biggest, the most important, but also very expensive. Expensive in the sense that you cannot get to scale with word of mouth without some other type of viral effect. The biggest viral platform today are social media platforms. Use it as much as you can. And then traditional platform, billboard, and the likes of it. Next slide. Now, this is the big part, right? The cost barrier, right? It's expensive, and people don't seem to know it, or they don't want to accept. It's expensive to communicate. A lot of the companies that you see today trying to create successful products, this is the most expensive part of their equation, their business. The cost of communication, the cost of getting your product to the customer, that cost alone can be the difference between a successful business or a successful product and an unsuccessful one. If you are able to magically get your product to your customer, awareness of the product, value utilization of the product, in the cheapest way possible, the cost to serve the customer as low as possible, you'll be successful. If you're not able to do that, guess what? That's the end. Uber and the likes. What's the difference between Uber and any other ride-hailing taxi? Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. The simply difference is that Uber is in your face. Uber is everywhere. Did Uber invent taxi business? Did they invent mobile app? Did they invent GPS? Did they invent the ability to press a button and somebody will get an instruction? No, now people have been hailing taxi using phone. Somebody just put it on an app. So why didn't somebody else succeed at that? They spent a lot of money getting that product to your hands, to everybody's hands, into the hands of the customer. And they innovated around it. So that art of communicating and engaging the customer to ensure that they understand it's easy for them to use your product, I think is more powerful than anything else. I think this is my last slide. Can you go next? Yeah, good. So this is my final slide. Now, I've gone through all of this process without taking you through the most fundamental, most important element of product value creation. And so I'm going to leave you with that piece, the most traditional piece, the 4 P's of marketing. But again, it's important that I went through that process, because so you don't think it's your classical, MBA class program. Your 4 P's, what's your product? Where are you going to sell it? The place, the channels, How much are you going to sell it for? What's going to be your cost? And how are you going to get into the hands of the customer? How are you going to promote it? But please, you need to first understand, why do you even want to create that product in the first place? Cosmetic production, because you think, cosmetic can unite the family. For example, I don't know, right? Then how are you going to go through that process of creating and creatively? 80% of what goes into our products today, the customers tell us. There's no eureka, there's no magic. Oh, can't you do it this way? Can't you do this function? And then we keep improving it. And then lastly, make sure you're able to get that product into the hands of the customer the most efficient way that you will be profitable, and not in a way that your communication, your delivery cost is too expensive, which is what, again, the same guys like Uber and Co are facing right now in trying to become profitable. And I hope this session was very valuable. Doja?
Excellent. Great, Salami. You promised us 30 minutes and you did 50.
I'm so sorry.
That's not a bad, no. I mean, it was engrossing. So quite I'd say quite thorough content. And thanks for that. Thanks, Salami. We are now going to go into questions. And like I said to the team, everyone on the call, you want to ask a question, you raise your hand. Already Stuart is raising his hand. We'll unmute you now. And then for anyone, if you don't want to ask it verbally, by all means, please type in your questions. But thank you. There's a lot that you said about the why, right? And you're right. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That's really what people buy, and the why is what drives finally the core and the rest of the business. Now, in my case, I mean, what I have experienced. Okay, now let's allow Stewart to ask his question, and then I can go on. Stewart, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ma. Mr. Salami, good evening. So,
Good evening.
yeah, first, I was excited when I saw that you were going to be into this program. I run a tech hub. I'm the team lead at Harvard's Tech Hub, and there's a product we're building. And at the time, we're trying to do a competitive analysis, and I decided to pick some Nigerian products that was similar and then see how they run before we now come back to our own. And I decided to look at fintech because we were into fintech. So I looked at Rabbi, I looked at Piggyverse, Kuda and Kuda and all that. And when you said, you know, some persons that are copying what you're doing page for page, I actually understood what you meant though. Now my question is simple. Tech is like becoming a lot simpler. So you're building a product and you're piloting. Let's say you want to pilot in Owerri, that's where you are. Now, what happens when you're so sure that there are a lot of good guys in Lagos who can simply duplicate what you're doing and scale it even before you, right? So just imagine you're building something, maybe a website for something to sell a product, or just like what you had in Rabbi. So imagine if I was doing that, and I know that someone like Mr. Salami is somewhere there. He's got a great team. Maybe he sees what I'm doing in Owerri, and he can in a couple of days try to build this and probably even get here. He's always there for tech startup. So how do we do something like that? Just I know that this is a cross shoot. They have everything when it comes to publicity and advert. What do you do?
Do you mean how do you prevent someone from copying your idea or your product? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean in terms of piloting. How do you pilot knowing that there is this problem of people who are better or people who have the money to pick up what you're doing and scale it up before you do?
I mean, so what happens is that, again, I think it's a very tricky question. Dodger, I don't know if you want to come in here. There's no simple way to do it. Like, if you don't have a unique IP, you're going to stand the risk of that happening. What you have to pray is that you are good enough and better enough. And again, at the end of the day, a successful business is not a fantastic idea. It's the best executor succeeds, right? And also, you want to, it's the classical blue ocean strategy. You don't want to start where the sharks have already taken over or can take over the entire market, right? And if you think that, maybe there's somebody that might be better at what you're doing, propose it to them, right? If you think they can execute it better, faster, they have more money, bros, don't reinvent the wheel now. Take it to them and say, hey, let's, we have this thing we think you like, and you would like for us to do it with you. If you maybe you find someone that has more muscle to back you and do it together. But there's really nothing you can do except run a very closed loop pilot, maybe a pilot with a group of people that you trust or in a place that you think the message will not get out to them. But once it's out there, the best, most innovative and fastest executing and deeply executing company. Apple is never the first at anything, really, if you think about it. They were not the first to create the mobile phone. Maybe they were one of the first to create the computer. That was the last time they really created something first. Everything else they've done, somebody had done something close to it. They just looked at it and made it better. So it's really not who does it first at the end of the day. Dodger?
I mean, thanks for that, and I think you make a whole lot of sense. I would share what my orientation is, right? I have sold and marketed and run business on food for many, many years. You have to be pedantic about understanding your customer. Now, to understand the customer means that you have to walk in their shoes. There's absolutely no idea that today somehow I am not solving the problem as a customer. I'm finding a way to solve the problem. It may not be the most efficient way today, but I'm solving the problem somehow, right? So if you say you have an idea, right, and you are piloting it and somebody else takes it and is able to quickly scale up, it may be you may want to query yourself really that, is it really indeed unique enough? Or in the first place, are you really preferring something that is distinctly differentiated? So let's go back about knowing your customer. How do we know our customer? How do we know what the pain points that they are suffering is? How have we walked in their shoes? You know, some years ago, we talked about, we were trying to innovate on something to say, okay, let's bring in a new product that does this, that is brilliant. Oh no, people have this problem, people have this challenge. Say, okay, now let's go and find out if it's really true that that problem exists. Now, what we needed to do, because it was a breakfast product, was go to the customer's house at 5 a.m. before they even woke up, to understand how is the morning, from the time they wake up to every single thing that they do in the morning, and then the time that, and when they eat, and what problems they go through that whole end-to-end journey. And that's where, when you understand those pain points, you then sit and start to formulate, how can I solve these genuine problems? If I've shaped how I think I can solve those problems, right? Because that's the role of an entrepreneur, solve problems. The bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the money you make. And that's a fact. Now I want to pilot. You have no choice but to test. Because if you don't test, it's back to what you said, Salami, about the failure. And what you lose when you roll out without testing and potentially fail. So if someone is copying, you have the risk of someone copying your idea. You have the choice of actually patenting it or trademarking it or protecting it somehow from intellectual property perspective. There's that part. There's also the part that you have an end-to-end value chain in this business. So they may copy the idea, but they cannot copy every single leg of it. And you find a differentiated way of delivering that service, that product, to your customer in a way that your own solution is maybe more holistic or solving the pain points in a better way and a stronger way. So, I mean, that for me will be my own perspective and what I have seen as an experience. You have to buy insecticide.
I have to. You know, our offices have been closed, so I think we have to have communication in this office. Yeah, I'm sorry, just to add to that, I want to use a very interesting example. So I'm not sure how many, I'm sure you all know Piggy Bank and you all know Ribi, and I'm sure a couple of people have said, oh, you guys compete. And that's not really what's important to me. What's important to me is the uniqueness of, I love innovative stuff, and I think they're one of the innovative companies around. One of my friends said, a lot of people have tried to copy Piggy Bank, but they didn't still get some things that, I think the Piggy Bank team have done. For example, your inability to remove your money. A friend of mine said, he was very angry when he couldn't remove more money because they said, you have removed money, just something. You have to wait for X number of days for you to be able to remove more money. Now that, for example, in itself, it looks so simple, so fundamental, yet it's so unique in a way to think about your product. So it's not everything that people will be able to copy. So, I mean, for me, I say it's okay to worry about copying and competition, but what's more important is for you to, and again, guess what? Nigeria, 200 million people. You're worried about competition. I mean, okay, the biggest company in Nigeria, MTN, there's only one of them. They have, well, by market size, they have 60 million customers. They still remain 140 million people now. Go and find just 140,000 customers. 140,000 customers can change your life. 140,000 customers that you're making $10 from every year. That's $1.4 million. How many people in Nigeria? You're already 1% of Nigerian population if you're doing $1.4 million a year in revenue. So don't worry about, just go and find your own 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 customers. And in a country with 200 million, 100 million people that can buy products, even $10 a year, bros, you will try. Don't worry.
So I'm going to go through quick other questions. No hands raised, so we're taking questions in the chat box. What would you advise as the right number of people to test and pilot your products or your prototypes through? And this person is in edge tech, so education tech.
Yeah. I mean, so the number of people that gets you to maybe sustain a team of 10 people. because I know the edtech space a little bit, I know you can, my thought is that you can succeed with 10 people. So test, okay, well, let me say test one thing, pilot one thing. You can test it maybe if you're running a school product, maybe say 10 to 20 schools. You could connect offline with a lot of people, a couple of people in the edtech space. They can tell you more. And then maybe, I don't know, let's say between 20 and 50 schools for a test. And if you do that successfully and all of them love the product, then you're onto something. And then for pilot, you probably want to pilot with between 50 to 100 schools and get a product that is addressing, 10,000 students. Then you think, okay, 10,000 students using your stuff every day. Then you have a product that you want to go to market. You want to spend a big amount of money to then push. And generally, I think that's the case. And that's what people don't realize. Some of those things might take you 2 years to do, 3 years to do. A lot of people don't have two things. Number one, they don't have the strategy to survive. The way you plan for the business to run, you have to also plan for you and the business to survive. And number two, they don't have the dexterity, is that what it's called, or the grit to stay the course of that survival. It's hard, and you have to get there. So if you're able to survive that and able to get those numbers, I think then you know that, okay, you have a product that might be able to scale, that might be able to scale.
So another question was about what you had referenced earlier when you said you had a product on Weebly which you didn't want to share, right? And the question is it advisable to keep it that way to prevent another brand from copying and pasting verbatim?
Well, up to a point, you can. After a certain point, your ability to continue to innovate and to grow your product is really what differentiates you. But I think what has been exciting about our business is how a lot of people that I see trying to do what we are doing actually do not really understand our business. And it's not even about our product. Our product is just one part of the business. But in Yoruba language, they say that there are two, I can't remember which one, but there's one that says when you don't know how your mates are succeeding, you will suffer till death, because you don't know what they are doing. You don't know if it's because their company pays them well. You don't know if their father left them inheritance. You don't know if they have, maybe they've been investing in the transport business and they have an agbero that manages their transport business so that it doesn't go kaput. You don't know. But you see the guy, he's driving a nice car, he works in a filling station, and you think that that's what's making him successful. That might not be. My point here is that everybody have their secret to success. Everybody have their strategy to make sure that they are profitable. You need to not let what you see other people doing be the driver of your own, your own approach to market. You need to become so strong in your original thinking that you are able to, design your own route to success, while of course learning from other people. But you will not be able to keep that way secret forever. So you need to also be able to continue to innovate. But yes, do not reveal everything that you are doing to the public, not even to investors. I have an investor that he says that he didn't know, but he actually competed with us on one of our businesses. And guess what? He was better connected and he made more money than us. So investors, the public, doesn't really matter. You should not let your entire cat out of the bag.
So keep your secret recipe secret. How you bake the bun, because I see that we have someone who has a bakery on the line. So how you bake your bun and the ingredients of it, you keep that secret. It's the end product that you are testing. So another question, right? So this individual had participated in a number of mentoring programs, innovation during the course of COVID-19. And he's noticed that teams of innovators appears, just a second, I work with teams of innovators, and it appears there is an idea rush to go to market with little research. How best would you advise for patience and introspections at the building and ideation stage?
Yeah, I think that's where we talked about move fast, but be smart. All right, this is Nigeria. A lot of the time, we also need to realize that a lot of the products that we're building, we lack a lot. Something one of my investors used to say a lot when I first met him. He said, salami, first principles. Go to the first principles. Two things. Number one, we lack the depth of talent in Nigeria. Founders, team members, employees, board, investors, the market, everybody. The depth of knowledge and the depth of talent is not as big as we need. It's not that deep. And secondly, we lack the first principle thinking, which is, what is the core of the problem? How can you get to the depth of the problem? And because of that, you have to be very careful as a founder or as a product creator, not to just jump to market with your product thinking it's the most amazing thing after sliced bread, right? You have to deeply see who am I competing with? What are the alternatives? How do I make sure that mine can, go into the heart of the problem? Sometimes the answer might be very simple. The answer might even not even be in the product. The answer might be in a partnership. Say, for example, you're trying to create an education product. Why can't you go and convince the Ministry of Education that you're going to offer them a free version, what's it called? A smaller version for free. That partnership alone might change the trajectory of your product. My point is, a lot of people, and the person is right, I think he's trying to instigate a point, which is, move fast, but be smart. This is Nigeria. This is Africa. We have to, what we call, you have to, leave room for the fact that your product will not be as good as you want it to be. At least not very quickly, right? So you need to deeply find out, how can this product be better in the market? And you cannot stop. Even if you roll it out quickly, you then have to, iterate and make your product better, faster. Every week you're thinking, and it's not about pushing out features. It's about talking to your customer, being very customer-centric. Engage with the customer. What would they want? What should you have? And then being able to meet the promise of fulfilling to that customer. Let me mention something, Dodger. One of the things I realized for us that has been valuable in how we think about product and how we advance our product, the deeper you engage with your customer, sometimes we run away from customers because the pressure is too much. I find that the place we succeed the most for us, Aribi, is the place where we don't run away from the customer. Mm-hmm. Even when the conversations are difficult.
Yes.
Even when what the customer wants is hard. Oh, sometimes we run because some customers can kill you. Somebody said, I saw a tweet on one of those social media platforms one day. Person said, by the way, I'm a customer and I'm advising all the vendors on my timeline. If I live in Awoyaya or something, if you get an order from Awoyaya, and the person says just after Lekki, it's not in Lagos, so Awoyaya is not in Lagos, do not deliver to them or tell them you're not doing delivery. Something like that, right? So there's some customers like that, but the process, the deepest thing, I think the deepest answer that I can provide, spend at least 2 years, 2 deep years, weekly, engage with your customer. What else do you want? What else do you want? If they're not using the product, you're on their neck. And you're looking for more customers and more customers. 2 years, I'm yet to see any solid product that took less than 2 to 3 years of continuous usage, research, questioning to even get close to what the customer really wants. I think that's what I can say. Build fast, ship fast, but repeat quickly. 2 years, 3 years to even start.
It all starts and it ends with the customer. If you are not meeting their needs, they are not going to pay any amount of money for anything because it's not value. It is only value when you are solving a genuine problem, a problem that is deep enough, a problem that other substitutes are not easily feeling, or they are not even feeling, they may even be feeling it cheaper. So the key thing is, what need are we meeting? And are we understanding enough the need of the customer? Now, you make a very valid point about spending time with the customer. Sometimes when we run our researches, we just want to do a survey, ask people, and then, bring back the survey, and then we start to act on the basis of that survey. You and I know that TIA, this is Africa, what people say and what people do are usually 2 different things. I can tell you that, I exercise every day, and I do this and I do that. Not true, right? I exercise only once a week. But in my mind, I'm wishing that I'm exercising every day. For that reason, I'm telling you that I'm exercising every day. But if you spend time with me, if you experience walk in my shoes and walk the journey with me, spend more time, you would understand, why am I not exercising every day? What are the barriers that I'm facing or stopping me from exercising? And then you can profile a solution that brings me to my desired state. And then, of course, I pay for it. I'm going to take other questions again. So I did not do any planning. I just started with CAC registration, collected NAFDAC registration requirements, and started with the facility. I have the first product out, of which I gave friends and colleagues who gave me thumbs up for the 2 products. What next is why I'm here today. Any other advice for me?
Thumbs up from friends and family is what you call emotional withdrawal. It's not minimum viable happiness. Most times, friends and family will not tell you your product is crap or your product sucks. But I think you started fantastically well. NAFDAC, fantastic. CAC, of course, by default. You've done production, you did the market. The question you need to start asking yourself is, who are the top 3 people in your market? And why? What would make you better than them? A friend of mine, this, what you see me wearing, this native, this is all I wear now. I've used him as an example before in another session. I'm going to use him again. The reason why I get my clothes from him is that I've tried multiple people, and he's the closest to, I'll use my comparison, T.M. Lewin. Now, I've never done this thing I'm telling you. I don't know, maybe, I grew up in Egbeda. My dad was okay, we were okay, if he wanted to go to, if he wanted to do PhD, and he would pay for it. But it wasn't nothing more than that. So trust me, I didn't grow up with silver spoon in my mouth. So I didn't experience this growing up. We had to adjust the trouser. When it's too long, you take it to tailor and you cut it. There always seem to be adjustments when it comes to clothes. Always. And I thought, that's the way it has to be. But it was always very painful. So I walked into TM, and I think I think it's one of the guys. He just looked at me and said, okay, you should be a 3315. I'm like, what's that one? Like, oh yeah, your Kinikon is 33, your neck is 15, blah, blah, blah. That's it, Dodger. 30 years of, at the time, I think I was about 26.
Tailor adjusting.
26 years of tailor adjusting ended. 33.15. Oh God. Just a number. So now, if I don't wear shirts that much anymore, I used to wear suit and tie, 7 years ago and all that stuff. For almost 8 years, suit and tie every other day. I wasn't even in banking, but I was doing enterprise sales, so you always have to wear suit and tie or native and cap. But now I'm in tech, so I can't do anyhow. But I still respect myself and wear native. So when I just walk into a TM store, I just go straight to the section 33, 15, fitted. That's it. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I don't even test, nothing. Well, sorry, I'm using TM for I didn't grow up with TM, please understand what I'm saying. So that you not say, these people have come again. So I pick the shirts, put it in the bag, pay and walk out. No questions. It has never happened before that I unpack the shirt. I have to take fitted or not. I'm not that fat. So it has to be fitted. If I take the normal one, to be a little bit big. So it's very precise. If I wear that shirt, in fact, if I'm going for a meeting and maybe my shirt got stained, if I walk into a TM shirt and I pick that shirt, I think David Wedge, is it David Wedge? Yes, David Wedge has come close to that now in Nigeria. And let's show off Nigerian brands. I carry one of their bags now as well.
Nice.
I use their belt as their shirts are beginning to, I think they're beginning to have sense too. Once I wear that shirt, that's it. I put my conflicts, everything perfect. Now that differentiation, maybe that's what you need. in your product. You know, you say you have NAFDAC, your friends are giving comment. This my guy now. Once I say this is what I need, in 2 weeks I have it. Hardly would I need to send it back for any adjustment, you know, or worry about payment. In fact, I can even tell him I need it in a week and he will get it to me. Where I want him to go next is where I can walk into, I can call him and 24 hours I will get it. Because he has mastered material supply, he has mastered the tailoring, he has mastered delivery. The moment he gets to that point and he says, walk into any of our stores, I've told him this is the formula that in my view. Walk into any of our stores, we have, I don't know, maybe 200 of them, or partner stores. Take your measurement once in a lifetime. We have the technology of how we will know your body will go up, your body size will increase. We can project that 2 years from now, we should add 2 inches to the hand, 3 inches to the leg. You know, if you're married, we add some extra in the tummy.
It depends on how many pizzas I've eaten.
I know now, I understand. I'm factoring for that as well. But the moment they can get to that point and they can say, once you do that, once we measure you once, for the next 10 years, place an order in 24 hours, you get your stuff. Now that is the next level for him. So maybe that is, you know, that's something that we need to begin to look at. How do we standardize? How do we make our product the best in the market? How do we begin to compete with the guys that have done this thing for centuries? Like, of course, TM Lewin have been sewing for a long time. Biggie and this is your industry, Dodger. Biggie and Chi. Coca-Cola had to buy, I think they are now the majority owner or the sole owner of Chi drinks. Because these guys were just putting them on the run. Now Biggie is doing about the same thing, taking over the market from Coca-Cola. The only way to know what next to do is very simple. Consultants know it. It's called benchmarking. Go into the market, see what others are doing, and make sure yours is better.
I think with Bosede, I would first commend you because definitely governance, you're on the right track, which is good, right? You have those two products. I want to believe they are cosmetics because you mentioned that earlier. I would say that, you know, being in the, you know, food and beverages, FMCG sector, I would say take those two products and find other people who are not connected to you, right? In your specific core target. So whoever it is you're targeting, let's say mainstream women, find other people who will test that product. Preferably be present when the testing is going on so that you are seeing exactly what their experience is like, right? So that helps you as well in the fine tuning and adaptation and improvement of your product. And also maybe even not improvement, maybe it's really about finding what is the core differentiator that then helps you build a value proposition, right? And also helps you build the right selling story that connects your customer with the product. And then you can go, you know, in terms of testing, someone has asked how many, the numbers and this and that. Really, it's completely up to you and completely up to your capacity. If you can test with 10, fine. If you can test with 50, fine. But then again, you really now have to dissociate emotions. Exactly what Salami said. Friends and family are connected to you. Dissociate the emotions and take it to completely who your target market is, because they will tell you exactly as it is and helps you fine tune, helps you also ensure that your launching pad, because you will mass produce. And if you fail at that point, the loss is a whole lot higher. So that will be my own guidance from this part. I think we will need to wrap up very, very soon in another 5 minutes, actually, because now we are 20 minutes outside of our ending time. I did see a hand raised. It's no longer raised, so I'm going to go back into the chat box. I'm going to ask the very last question. Someone says, intangibles, right? I think I saw that somewhere. Intangibles, how do you apply this process to intangible ideas like training?
How do you apply these principles to intangible ideas?
Intangible businesses, let's say, like training. So we remember you had gone through a whole process of building, testing, you know, the full end to end. How do you apply that to an intangible product, a service like training?
I mean, I think it's the same thing. I mean, do we have any more questions? So I know how much time we can.
Well, there are a few more questions, but I would
so maybe
suggest...
we can take 2 more questions.
Okay, 2 more questions. I think it's very much also in the testing space. How
Yeah.
long can the testing phase last? I think you answered that. What is the role of data analytics in the development of another product?
Fantastic. I think we can take all those three questions together. I think that there's really no difference in, and these things are age old, right? We just need to deepen our own personal research, our own self-learning process, right? I'm not sure that there's a significant difference between the process of ideating, evaluating, and building, test piloting, and going to market with your product in physical product market versus maybe software versus maybe services business. If you're in training, for example, offer your training for free if you've not done it at scale before, right? See how many people want it, see how many people like it. It's free now. Let them use, use them to do test drive, right? So that you get to the point where you're then fine-tuning your product to where everybody wants it. So it's the same thing, just the same process of what are you trying to do? How are you going to be unique at doing it? What are the techniques required for you to be the best? Your 10,000 hours, how are you going to do it? And once you fine-tune all of those processes, then you begin to try it over and over again and consciously be reinventing, be iterating on that. I think I'm going to bring in data analytics here. We're yet to get it, and I'm still thinking of the best way to even get our team and myself into that cycle. I've been to several programs, Google Launchpad Africa program. I've been to the United Nations Trade Commission and Alibaba e-Founder Fellow program in China. We're in China for 2 weeks. And quite a lot of programs. One of the things I see this program do differently, they always ask for customer feedback. Our feedback. Oh, what did you think about this session? Was it okay? What should we do better next time? Always, but not in Nigeria. Sorry, I'm sorry, Doja.
We have a poll at the end of this.
At the end of this,
so you have to wrap this up quickly so that we can take a poll.
You can take the poll. Good.
And then we can both go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. And I think that's where data analytics come in. What is the customer saying to you? I was in a board meeting. Doja, you know which board meeting I'm talking about. I was in a board meeting last week, and one of the board members asked a question. I asked the management team of the company a question. I wasn't part of that. I was happened to be on the board, and they're like, Rashid, please don't tell me, don't give me literature, don't give me narration when you can present to me data. You said, XYZ customer order dropped because of XYZ. And then you're saying, sometimes they are saying, they don't like the price. Sometimes, he said, no, Rashid, wait. When we have data, let's stick to the data. 50% of our customers say that, the price has gone up, and so they won't buy. 20% say that the taste is bad. 15% say that it takes too long to get to them. That is where data analytics come in. We need to, as much. I don't do it enough. I don't know if any. I don't know any. I've not met any company in Nigeria that does this thing excellently well. But it's actually the hallmark of piloting and testing, which is get customer feedback and try to quantify that data. What are people saying? Tabulate it. Put it down in some form of feedback mechanism that you can then use to improve your product. I hope I answered that question, but that's what I think the process entails.
I think you did perfectly, and I just want to thank you again. Thank you for the time. Thank you for sharing the experience, the stories, and also the content. Again, like I said to everyone, that the recording and also the presentation will be available by tomorrow morning on our website, ecoicenter.com/webinar. You'll find this one, and you will find all the previous 8 sessions that we have had. Now, thanks a lot, Salami. Is there one thing that we needed to have said that we have not said?
One thing. For me, this is the one thing that I've learned the most. We can postulate, we can propose, profile, ideate. One thing that always wins is never give up. Just do it. You don't have to get it right now. All your friends might be succeeding in the same thing you are trying to do and you are failing. Doesn't matter. It's not a race for time. Lipton did not start producing, They are Lipton tea 10 years ago or 5 years ago when Chia started producing. But now they are producing the thing, and I'm buying it. In fact, I prefer it to tea, even though I've always loved iced tea. And guess what? Iced tea is even cheaper than Chivita, and I don't even like, all the juice, mango, and all those. I don't even like. I feel like it's too much. I feel like I'm drinking chemical. But iced tea just feel like I'm drinking tea that I put inside fridge. So I think for me, that's still the biggest thing. There's no failure until, there's nothing anything like failure. You know, failure is a lack of attempt. It's a lack of trial. I don't consider myself a failure or a success. I think that I am in the center of my objective as a person. And I'm super excited about that, which is every day I wake up doing what I love to do. It doesn't matter if I get it absolutely right, 110%, or I'm only marginally good, but I do it over and over again, and I keep doing it till I get better and better at it. So that, I think, will be the biggest thing I want to say to everybody listening. It doesn't matter who is getting it right or how well they're getting it right, but just keep going at your stuff, keep doing your stuff, and you'll be shocked how, life will, look good for you. I've been on this journey for 15 years. Trust me. So I know what I'm talking about a bit. Just keep doing it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Never give up. Keep at it. Champions never give up. They trip. Sometimes they fall. Sometimes you break a leg. But guess what? They get up and try again. The critical thing, again, is, I said it in the beginning, please take action. If you don't, you never know until you try. Take the action. We're learning so much on this platform, other platforms during this period. Now it's time to start working on it. Salami, there's something that you offered. You talked about coaching. Can you please announce it?
Yes.
And let's pick the people who you will be coaching.
Yes.
2 hours each.
Bossade definitely on the top of that list. Cosmetic. Maybe I want to get free, maybe he has
first tell us first, what are you offering?
Remind me, 2 hours.
You said 2 hours each for 3 people.
To 3 people.
You will be guiding them exactly on how, their product, business model, and building their value proposition. Yeah. So definitely, Oluwabami Wobosede, you are on. Now, anybody else?
You
want to raise your hand if you think you need this?
I think people are raising their hands, so maybe we'll go by one hand raised, and then we look through the questions subsequently, and then one. I know, participation is always a good benefit.
Indeed,
of this kind of thing. But I'll leave it to you.
Oh, okay, cool. The first name I'm seeing with the hand up will be Peter Abasiono. So that's the second person, and then we look into the question area.
Wow, you have a big challenge in front of you. 11 hands.
Tell me about it. Oof. Okay. You're right.
There's a Donald with, there's just, these things are never fair enough.
Indeed,
life is not really that fair. But there's a Donald Alaye, I hope I get that right, who has said in the chat box, please, I'm interested in the coaching. I think we can add to the list.
That's
number 3. We can extend it to 5.
Can I please request?
There's so much demand.
You are just amazing. So Ibwa Kevwe, I'm sorry if I'm murdering your name. I'm really sorry. Ejiro Gene, you talked about the bakery. So I think that it will be great to have you also as part of it. Your hand is raised as well, and I see you really participated in the conversations. So that will be the 4th person. Koinsola, please make sure you're getting down these names so that we can connect with the individuals. And no, Salami, I've done a great job already. Please, you have to pick the last person.
Oh, Lord. Interesting. Okay, so we have one more pick to go.
Yes, correct.
I'm trying to tap into this. Okay, let me ask a question. And whoever, drops the answer in the chat, the correct answer in the chat first, gets it.
Super cool.
I gave an example at the beginning of this presentation as to one of the things I think is most important in business, and I've repeated it multiple times. It's the name of a game. What is that example? And maybe one more question. Where is Ruby's office?
Only one, sir. Only one question.
Tomisi has won. Mario. Tomisi Olatoye has won. Mario. Someone said Lego.
Okay. All right. Great. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for participating. Really, really active participation. We're really glad. And it's clear that this is making an impact in your life, making an impact in your business as well. We appreciate that we have a large percentage of our audience who strongly agree that the webinar met your expectation. It's clear what you would like to listen to next. And we will, as much as possible, make sure that these topics are treated. Already we have some of the programs, some of the topics already lined up. So next week we'll be focusing on actually defining your market, which is the very first step, how you define the market and making sure that you are actually picking where you have the ability to win and where is also attractive. So the attractiveness of the market and your ability to win within that market. Right after that, we will definitely be able to take the marketing subject. In any case, that's my favorite subject in the whole wide world, marketing. So, friends, it's been a wonderful time. Thank you for your participation. Salami, we want to say thank you. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the content. And thank you for the coaching as well. For all the 5 people who won, we will be sending you messages so that we can connect all the parties and make sure that the coaching happens as per the timing basis, your availability as well, Salami. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Please continue to stay safe. And 2 things we said as a wrap up: never, ever give up, and please take action. Have a lovely evening.
Please let the winners send in their credentials, please.
Credentials being what?
Their emails and their phone numbers.
Okay, so please type in your email privately to Eco Innovation, just inside the chat box, but please make it private so that we can reach out to you. I'm going to hold on then. I won't leave the meeting. Please, if you were identified as part of the winners, please put in your email address so that we can get that chat.
Doja, I think you need to open a business clinic in EIC. You still have 11 or 14 people who want to. So maybe that's something you should consider significantly and see if we can get some of our chairmen to sponsor it. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you for hosting me, Doja, and the EIC team. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Have a lovely evening. Bye, everyone.
Bye.